Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to spend some time learning about all the new improvements that went on at our schools over the summer. My guest is Dr. Dan Bowling, who's COO of the school system. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, I know that City Council has been increasing the amount of money that goes toward revamping the schools, and that in the past, you know, all the bathrooms were redone and all the elementary schools got covered entrances, and they're looking good on the outside. But I know there's still a lot to be done, and people want to know, what are you doing with their tax money?
Well, we're putting it to good use, without question. The majority of our buildings in Hampton, our school buildings, are 40, 50, and 60 years old.
Gosh, yes.
Yeah,
it's an old city.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of our buildings have not gone through any kind of major renovations there. They've had little things done here and there. Rest assured, they're well maintained, very clean, and very suitable for the purpose that is going on, teaching and learning inside the buildings. But we're using that money now to modernize those buildings, bring those buildings to the 21st century. And so that's what we're looking to do. We work on the outside of our buildings, on the exterior. We look to replace roofs, windows, doors, HVAC, electrical systems, sidewalks, parking lots, on and on, drainage, on and on with that sort of things. But we also look to the inside because, that's where people see when they go in. And,
right.
And first impressions are so important when you walk into a building. We want our students and our faculty and our community members to be able to walk in those buildings and have that wow factor. Wow, this is a wonderful school. This is bright, colorful, new, and that's what we're working on.
Yeah, and it kind of matches the attention that the school system has been getting for the quality of education.
Yes.
You want the buildings to be a place that kids want to go, that parents are excited to send their kids to.
Exactly. You couldn't have said it better. Dr. Smith has worked really hard when he's come in and basically brought a systems approach to our school systems where he's really focused on teaching and learning in the buildings, and we have a lot of great things happening there. A lot of high-level teaching, high-level learning, and we want to make sure that our facilities reflect the quality of what's going on in those classrooms as well. So the whole system, if you will, not just the education teaching,
right,
but the facilities, as we can bring that together.
Well, and my kids have graduated, so I don't go in the school building, any of the school buildings,
exactly,
unless I do read to the little kids for the Mayor's Book Club. So I see some, but it's been, a lot of what you're doing, a lot of our taxpayers are not seeing. So if you could kind of walk us through some of the big projects you did this summer, we'd love to hear it.
Sure, absolutely. This last summer, we continued on with our library renovations there. Now, library is an older term. Mm-hmm. We like to use media centers. Media centers, exactly, now. But really, when you looked at our libraries, they were very functional. They were very well maintained, again, but they were just dated. If you walked into it, it was almost like walking into a museum. Again, these spaces were 30, 40, 50 years old. They had seen little renovations here and there, maybe some new paint, new carpet, but no wholesale renovation that took place. So we went into, we've done all of our high school libraries, and transformed them into 21st century media centers now. We've done the first three of six of our middle schools last summer.
Oh, wow.
This coming summer, we'll do the other three plus at least 3, maybe 4 elementary school media centers as well. And then we'll continue that process right on down the line until we've got them all done. When you went into those media centers, what you basically saw was a older carpet, original bookcases, 30, 40-year-old bookcases that was there. A lot of iterations of different furniture that had kind of made its way
together.
Yes,
right.
It just kind of made its way there and just sort of died there, if you will. There were a lot of old storefronts that were there, probably 30 or 40 years ago. They were offices, but now they were just used as storage, and it took up a lot of space. You had exposed ceiling rafters there. It's very industrial looking, so you could see the piping and the wiring going through. And that may have been an architectural feature 30 or 40 years ago, but not so much today. So what we did was we go in and we basically, once we pinpoint what media center we're going to do, we have everything packed up, all the books, all the materials, and we move that out. We try our best to repurpose as much as the furniture as we can and move that to other schools or into that school. And then we go in, just for a lack of a better term, what we throw out, we gut the space. In other words, we take out everything that's in there. We ripped out the carpet, the old bookcases that were there. We took down all the old storefronts. So what you're left with is a shell.
What do you mean when you say storefront?
Storefront is, if you look at an office, if you were to walk into a building and you were to go to the main office, it's that glass wall that you see there.
Okay.
So, and it maybe has some doors and some windows that come in. And so it had a lot of those in there. So we took those, and they were old. They're not the modern ones. They were kind of wooden and really thin glass, no safety glass there. So again, we ripped that out, and we ended up with just bare concrete floors, bare walls, bare ceiling. And what we did was we went back in with the idea of, how do we modernize this space? Now we've got this space where we want it, we can make it into what we want. So one of the things you'll see a lot in media centers nowadays are these small study rooms. We call them collaborative rooms there. These are about 10 by 10 rooms. They are made up, again, storefront, which are the glass walls there. They come around, makes like a little box, if you will, and you have a glass door that you can go in and out of. In each of these libraries, we put 5 of those collaborative rooms in. So you go into those rooms, they have a beautiful carpet, brand new ceiling, LED lights in there. Each room has its own HVAC system in it.
Oh my God.
So when you get a lot of students, say if you put 5 or 6 students in there, then you're in a situation where it doesn't get too hot, doesn't get too cold, and you can stay comfortable in there, and that can be a great learning space. Also in those rooms, we had both low and high interactive tables that were put in there. They're sort of horseshoe-like tables that go in with lots of chairs that go around them. And on the back of those, there's a vertical piece that goes up, and there's a 50-inch display monitor that goes there as well. So this allows some functionality in the library, so we can actually take 25 to 30 students and teachers and put them into those rooms.
So a whole classroom could go at once.
Could go in there at once. They can go in there for small study groups, group projects, tutoring, any of those type of activities, and it doesn't disturb everyone else that's out in the library. So you could bring a whole nother class in the library. So now we've increased the functionality of it.
So, yeah, when you first said that, I thought of like tutoring or small reading groups or whatever. But the times I have been in the schools, like I came in and judged some stuff, there is a lot of group projects going on, and they're video, I mean, at least in the high school level, they're videos, younger,
absolutely.
maybe
Yeah.
there's, PowerPoints or slideshows or whatever, but there are a lot of occasions when students do work together in those small teams. So it makes so much sense.
Yeah, and those interactive tables are great for that purpose, because what you're able to do then is you're able to take the teacher can go in with their because we're a one-to-one school system, so everyone has laptops there. The students can take their laptops in, teacher can take their laptops in, and they can plug that into the table, and then that will take whatever they're working on and just put it up on that big display. So, if it's some kind of research from the internet, if they're working on a PowerPoint presentation, if the teacher wanted to take their iPad in there, if you will, they can do that, and they could, put 2x plus, y equals whatever it may be, and they can show that right there on the screen and solve problems or go over reading there. So it's a very, very powerful thing. And then, of course, we address the rest of the library as well. We put in a beautiful color pattern there. We make them bright and colorful. Try to pay homage to the school spirit of whatever the mascot may be. Brand new carpet, all new furniture goes in as well. New circulation desk. We worked with the media centers, gave them a new office. A beautiful decorative ceiling went in, and these are very colorful ceilings. There may be some woodwork there with integrated LED lights there. We replaced any of the exterior windows, of course, put brand new windows, and some doorways got replaced as well. So when you walk into this space, it is absolutely 100% brand new. There, smells new, looks new, very modern, and we've just gotten just rave reviews from all of the teachers, principals, students, and everyone who's been in these spaces.
That is great. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And one of the other things we do as well is we always try to think of functionality of the space there. So when we bring it into a media center, we want to make sure we make that space, how we teach kids today may not be how we teach them tomorrow or into the future. So we want to make sure that those spaces are adaptable there. So any of the furniture that we put in, the soft seating, the tables, the chairs, all of those items all come on casters, which are wheels there.
Right.
So we're able to, depending on the activity that's going on, whether the teacher comes in and they have a lesson that they want to do, or the librarian or the principal, administration may be hosting a meeting, we can adapt that library in a matter of minutes. We can move it around, so we could take one class or two classes, or we can move things around. We could take 200 people into those library spaces and conduct a meeting if we need to. So that's what I mean by functionality, adaptability, and that's what we want to build our spaces to be.
So if this is a phased project, how are you doing the rest? What does the rest of Tarrant look like?
So I believe that it's going to take us about 2 more years to finish that up, given the size. Tarrant is a very large school.
I don't think I've ever been in that one. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it's a 2-story middle school, very large. But we've done the back now. We did over 16,000 feet of wall replacement. We replaced 46 windows in the back. And so we have, I think, 2 more years to finish that one up as well. We've also worked on some other exterior projects as well. We replaced 5 HVAC systems at different schools with VRF systems, highly efficient, best on the market. These are the only HVAC systems that you can turn on and that they can heat and cool at the same time, depending on what your room is calling for.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's wonderful.
And that saves money in the long run. I mean,
absolutely.
I know from having replaced my boiler, anything you can do to be more energy efficient is A, good for the environment, and B, helps your operating budget.
Oh, absolutely. So, and just the reliability. It cuts down on the repairs that we have, very, very high quality systems. And we also focus on the fresh air. They're called DOWASH units. It's just a unit that goes in the ceiling. But its main purpose is to draw in fresh air. So depending on the season, it heats or cools that air, and it's pumping that fresh air into the classrooms and different spaces of the building. So we're keeping the buildings more comfortable for everybody, and an eye on the health of our buildings to make sure we have good fresh air and turning over that air in that building. We've also replaced 5 roofs this past summer as well on our schools. These were all tar and gravel roofs. We ripped those off, and we put brand new, you probably have seen these roofs, they're white, brand new white PVC roofs over top of them. The old roofs were 30 to 35 years old. We've gotten our life, it's past its life expectancy there, and they were failing, so it was time for them to get replaced. But now we have wonderful roofs on top of there, and they'll be good for another 30 years. We won't have a problem. Just a couple more areas that we worked on this summer that may be of interest to our audience out there. We worked on 2 tracks at our high schools at Kecoughtan and Bethel. The tracks there, they were asphalt tracks. They were cracking. The lines were gone. We were having trouble with vegetation coming in, and it was a little bit uneven.
You don't want that.
No,
That's
you don't
not
want that.
good.
Not on a running surface. So we went back in and we got rid of all the vegetation. We repaired the substrate. We went in and paved about 2 inches over that. We corrected the length of the track so now it meets competition standards. It was laser leveled so the pitches are just right. And this is wonderful as well. We were able to go back in and put in a rubberized surface on those. And we paid homage to the school color, so they're both, Bethel, Kecoughtan are both green there. So we went back in with a green rubberized surface, new lines, new competition lines, high jump, long jump replaced, shot put discus replaced. We encircled both of them with a new vinyl fence as well. So now they're ready for competition. Athletics can use them, obviously. Physical education can use them in the schools. The faculty and staff can come out and walk. And then, of course, the community out there, our schools are open on the weekends in different areas for communities to come enjoy. Those are two wonderful tracks that you can come out and walk on. And the plan is to do the other two high schools this upcoming summer. And last but not least, we redid at all 4 high schools the tennis courts that were there. The playing surface was kind of gone. You could see the asphalt uneven cracks. The posts were leaning. The nets were in bad shape. The fence not so good. So we just went in and just took it all out, and then came back in. We repaired the cracks, solidified the substrate to make it solid so it would stop cracking and moving. Put a Petromat cover over the top. We added 3 inches of asphalt. Redid the surfaces, playing surface. So at a number of the high schools, it's green and blue. And of course, to pay homage to Hampton High School, that one is red and green. There, new posts, new nets, new fence, all around those. And so all in all, we did 24 tennis courts as well.
That's nice. And that also are facilities that a lot of our residents use on the weekends when they're not in use by schools.
Absolutely. And there were a bunch of other lighting projects, bathroom projects, smaller projects that we took care of. We also worked on our school corridors, tiling those corridors. We did 52,000 square feet there. 43 new storefronts were put in. Again, those are wooden doors that were taken out. New glass ones were put in. New LED lights in the hallway. 268 transom lights were put in around the school as well. That really kind of brighten, it adds security, quiets noise down in the classroom compared to what was there before. We put in 24 new bottle fill of water fountains. Those are wonderful for the kids. So it's no more the old water. You don't have to put your mouth down there. You can just go in and hit a button and fill your glass up. And we've been doing that across the district for a number of years now.
Yeah, it made sense. I think, it started during COVID, but now people are really working on their reusable bottles and saving energy and all that.
Absolutely. And we will continue on with those plans. And the plan is, we've hit all of our auditoriums, our gymnasiums,
the auditoriums are so nice.
The cafeterias. We've hit all of the big spaces, if you will. Now our corridors are getting corrected. And the plan now is to start moving into the classrooms and dividing schools up into chunks as we go through, phasing it, if you will. And renovating the classroom spaces as well. So we'll continue to move through that, and then we'll also be taking whole elementary schools on and renovating entire elementary schools over the summer.
That's nice. We do have, some older schools, and they're wonderful and historic, and people feel great about them, but they need, sometimes a little boost to keep up with the times. So that's awesome. Yep. Well, thank you so much. I enjoyed talking with you and learning about all this, and looking at some of the pictures is wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me.
And I hope those of you who don't have kids in the school system, like me, learned a little bit about what is going on there and how your tax money is helping to make the schools better, more energy efficient, and more safer and more conducive to the way students are being taught today and students learn. So thank you so much for watching.